Hello, welcome to Rebuilding Careers. My name is Bonnie Palmish. It's my honor to serve as the CEO here at Working Wardrobes. And this episode is starring the one and only Annette Walker. I'm so excited you're here with me today, Annette. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, it's great to be here. It's great to be here. I'm already know this is going to be maybe the best hour of the week.
Oh, well, let's experience it together. The best hour has arrived. I love it to hear from people what their first paycheck story was because there are sometimes yes and sometimes not correlations between what we're doing now and
Uh-huh.
where we started. So may I ask what was your first paycheck story?
Absolutely. Well, my very first W-2 job was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
KFC.
Yeah, KFC. Yeah, and I have to say I enjoyed all of it. It was a great job. I learned a lot of skills about how to greet people, how to treat customers, how to I don't engineer, well, I didn't have to engineer anything, but I had to be organized to get things in a particular way to be
Hmm.
ready for the
Hmm.
customer.
Hmm.
Had to know how to count too.
Oh, those were the days where it was
You
not
had to
counted for
count,
you.
there was no automatic register or any credit cards. You had to count change back and
Yep.
met a lot of really interesting people. But I did that job for a couple of years when I was in college. Yeah.
I can just smell it
Oh, I
already.
know. And I never got tired of eating it, which is
That's impressive.
it isn't. Maybe I think if I'd worked in a donut shop, I'd had a similar outcome. But I thought I would get sick of it, but I didn't. I
Never.
still like it.
Oh, I
Today,
love
I still
that.
like it.
Well, that is an unexpected first paycheck story.
I knew you wouldn't guess that one.
No, that is not guessable. So now we have to fast forward
Mhm.
and hear about all these chickens later.
All these chickens later.
How do you contribute your gifts, your talents, your skills in the workforce today, Annette?
Well, presently, I'm the president of City of Hope Orange County, and I have for the last 5 years been focused on bringing City of Hope to Orange County, building a cancer center, building a network, and right now building a hospital that will be finished by the end of this year and will welcome patients.
That is a huge endeavor, and
It
it's
is.
a
Yeah.
needed resource in our
Mhm.
community.
Yes.
I have seen many times how you are impacting lives,
Mhm.
and it is, I'm sure, at the forefront of your everyday decision about who this will affect.
It absolutely is, and it's something that I've been in healthcare for 40 years, so I've worked for all the big health systems in Orange County. But the something particular different about this job, and I was thinking of it when you were walking me around the building here about the personalization and
Mhm.
how it matters. City of Hope, I get calls every day, and they're from people who need help, and to really actually be able to help them
Mhm.
personally, not just because I happen to build the hospital they end up using, but to personally help them navigate part of this journey. It's extremely rewarding, and it makes you really understand how what you do matters.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah.
So true. So
Mhm.
true. The impact is also never really revealed to us, is it? And it can.
No, no, it's not. It's not. Well, I think about with what you do, the you touch one life, but that life is never in isolation.
Yeah.
With cancer, the patient is the only one who gets cancer. The family is dealing with this,
Mhm.
and whatever we can do to make that easier, better, faster, um, and help them enjoy life to the absolute extent possible, all that really makes a difference.
It certainly
Yeah.
does. And I love what you just I think about the ripple effects, right?
Yeah.
And that it's this ripple effect that we never see like the end of. Like you can't ever see the end of a ripple in water, right? It
You
just
can.
keeps going.
You can. But you should also shouldn't underestimate it.
Right.
Sometimes you think, oh, it's not that big a deal that I do this. I don't think we ever really know how big a deal some of this stuff could possibly be.
You're absolutely right. And we talk in workforce development about addressing barriers, and certainly cancer is a barrier to overcome.
Yes.
There are
Mhm.
many, many times when the barriers come in, a constellation. It's not just
Uh-huh.
one thing. Have you experienced that in your life, having to overcome one or constellation of barriers or obstacles that really maybe brought you to oftentimes what happens, right, is we get through something and then we're on the other side of it looking back. Wow, I achieved that. Wow, look at me now. Have you had those kinds of experiences? And if so, would you share one with us?
Yeah, I have. I have one particular moment in my life that, if you talk about things are never the same after as they were before.
Mhm.
And I was in college, and this was the 70s. For those of you listening, it actually was the last century. Yes, that's true. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but when you talk about society norms, it was quite different. So
Yes.
anyway, when I was a junior in college, I got pregnant and I wasn't married. And there honestly wasn't, in my parents' opinion, there's nothing worse that I could have ever done.
Mhm.
There's nothing that foretold a more dismal future, that, my life was over, I wasn't going to graduate, I would be on my own. It wasn't called, at that time you weren't a single mom, you were an unwed mother. So anyway, I had a lot of discerning to do, and I decided to keep the baby, and I did, and I graduated on time. And I have to say that after that moment, there wasn't much else that ever scared me,
Ooh.
because that I was able to do that. And I didn't do it by myself. There were people that helped me and guided me, but I had to do it. It had to be me. Nobody else could do that for me.
Mhm.
Um, and nothing much has ever scared me as much as that did,
Yeah.
or intimidated me as much. And so now when I look at challenges, they don't seem so hard, because I know how deep I can go if I need to. So that was it. Now, the end of the story that's good is I did end up marrying her father, but not till she was 18 months old. And we now have 6 children and 14 grandchildren. But we never would have known that. We
No.
did not see that. That
Yeah.
when we made these choices and went through these things, we had no idea what was waiting for us.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
can't know. You have to
Mhm.
go.
Ooh,
You
you can't
just
know, you have to go.
just have to go, and you have
Mhm.
to have confidence in yourself and faith, and go.
Yeah. There's something that you said recently about you've never done it until you've done it.
Yeah.
And is that rooted somehow in this?
Yeah. It actually was, I was talking to one of my daughters, Jessie. She was talking about her job, and she was trying to organize this meeting for facilitating with all these people. And I'm going like, well, this is what you do, this is what you do. And she goes, Mom, you don't understand. I've never done this. And I said, well, Jesse, no one's ever done it until they've done it. I mean, what I'm doing right now with City of Hope, I've
Yeah.
never done that. I've never
Yeah.
built anything but there's when you realize that every other person in the room is in the same situation, they might have done that thing that you're trying to do, but they have had many, many moments in their life that they had not done it, and
Mhm.
they did it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
no one is free, but also everybody should have the confidence that when they approach something new, um, take your best shot, because the next time you guarantee you're going to be even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things take, you as humans, we master things through diligence and resilience.
Mhm.
Just you got to keep at it. You got to
Mhm.
go.
Mhm.
And if you don't hit 100%, so what? Go back, do better than you did the last time.
That's
And then the
right.
time after that, you'll do better yet again.
Right.
But with Jesse, it's like Jesse just got promoted to a vice president job. And it was like, it was only 2 years ago when she's telling me, Mom, I've never done this.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
It is, and also that you could come at that advice from a place of
Yeah.
knowingness. And she, I'm sure, has seen plenty to know that there are many things that you have done for the
Yeah.
first time. And look at you, you're all
Well,
right.
yes and no, because I think she looks at me now and she says, "Oh, Mom, you're like this big executive, whatever." And I had to tell her, "No, you don't understand. That was me too." because sometimes you look at people and you make all these assumptions that,
Totally.
oh, they had it easy, or, someone greased the wheels, or they're related to somebody. Most successful people, that is not the case. They did it one step at a time, and they did it on their own.
Yep. And this concept too that you shared about, it's the resilience factor.
Yes.
It's actually literally, I think about it like a muscle, and we help our clients even strengthen this muscle. Every
Yes.
time you get a job interview that you don't land the job, that is an opportunity to refine, to polish, to learn, and to go back at it with new perspective, new learnings.
Absolutely. And sometimes when things don't work out, there's just something better waiting for you. On that subject of resilience, do you ever listen to the Huberman Lab podcast?
No.
Oh, it's one of my favorite. But he was talking about, he's a Stanford professor, and they have found a part of the brain that's associated with resilience, and particularly with aging, and what makes people age well. And there's a pattern these people who age well have, is they have a habit of doing things they don't like, but they do them anyway. And for instance,
Really?
if I don't like doing push-ups, and I do 10 push-ups, because the mere fact that I can overcome my own hesitancy builds resilience. And think about in some of the circumstances when you're working with your clients, or I think about with my employees, we have a lot of times where it's like, I just don't want to do that. But you know what? Suck it up and go after it. And there's a part of your brain that is getting developed that will keep you strong. And as you age, I guess it makes you even a good ager.
Great. But I need all the things for that, please.
I know. Well, yeah, right.
No, really, I'm like a training for the Centenarian Decathlon. I learned about this concept at Outlive, and I'm all in for training for the end game.
Yeah, well, this would apply then. That to do that is this, and once you start to like the thing you didn't like, you have to pick something new that you don't like.
Keep introducing and practicing.
There's a clear scientific correlation with resilience and an ability of someone to do things despite the fact they don't like it. Does that really surprise you?
It does a little bit, actually. Yeah, it does. Because it's not that I don't like doing the thing. I mean, I got a long list of those things.
Yeah.
But I think I didn't generalize that to, oftentimes discipline for me is the answer to my problem. And the discipline is doing the things I don't want to do.
Yes.
Right?
Like study for a test. Who wants to study for a test?
Totally.
But
But I'm telling you though, my workouts, I'm thinking about this in a completely different way now, right? That I'm not working out to just work out. I'm working out so that I can do things when I am 90 and 100. I can go anyways. All right, we could go down a health track for a very long time.
But it's correlated, I think, to ambition in life, or working through things that are hard.
Yeah.
Not just exercise and health.
Exactly. Well, this is actually, I have to know, if the hard thing that came your way was that you needed to rebuild your career, and I know that the resilience is going to come into this in some way. If you had to do that, Annette, how would you go about it?
The first thing I would do is I would pray, to be honest with you, because I always believe if you ask God to tell you what he wants you to do or what he has in mind for you, you have to ask him and you have to listen. And then when he tells you, you have to actually maybe do that thing, and it'll work out. So that is one thing, but that doesn't mean it won't be hard. For me, it means that I go in with a confidence that whatever the hardship is, I will prevail. And if I have a skill that I'm good at, I'm a strategist. And so my strategy is I'm always saying, okay, this is where I need to go. So, okay, these are my options. I'm going to try path A. If path A doesn't work out, I honestly and mentally never say I failed. I said, oh, it's just time to try path B. And if B doesn't work, then it's time to try path C. And by the time I'm at C, I've learned things from A and B that get me to wherever I'm going. So I think I would use a similar strategy, and I'd have spent some time being very introspective too about what, when I go back to the thing about praying to God for direction or whatever, we have things we are attracted to for whether we like the effort, whether we actually like the work. So it's important to find out what your natural talents are and intuitively move to using them.
I think that's actually really good advice for our clients, because this idea of doing work that you're good at for a living, right? Is also that, I don't know if it's a resilient, but it's a momentum builder.
Yes.
When you feel like you're contributing, and that makes you also feel of value. And then what you are contributing is of value, and it just kind of keeps feeding itself.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a book called Good to Great, which I think is one of the best leadership books ever, but he talks about the flywheel. And if you don't know what a flywheel is, it you imagine a wheel that you have to initially push, and it always feels like you're pushing, but it starts to develop its own inertia, and then it starts to fly on its own, and you don't have to keep pushing. And that's what it feels like when you're in the right spot. But that beginning part can be very hard.
Definitely. Is there any other advice you might share with our clients who are also in that space of demonstrating resilience, working on that muscle, and rebuilding their careers?
Yeah, I think it's about knowing. Working for organizations really matter. You want to work for an organization that aligns with your values.
Absolutely.
That you think or you feel that when you go to work, you're contributing to something that matters. I have a really good friend. She's super, super successful. And she made way more money than me, but she always says she hates talking after me. Because she goes, you sound like Mother Teresa, and I sell people shit they don't need. And and it's not that it's not that sales is bad, but it's not that sales is bad, and obviously sales gave her a lot of fulfillment. But I do think that the more you feel that your work matters from a society point of view, or however it's contributing, it doesn't just contribute to you.
Right.
It is attractive and it's fulfilling.
That's really resonating with me quite a bit, because I often am heard saying that I feel like the Working Wardrobe's mission is an extension of my soul.
Yes,
exactly. And I feel that because I am so deeply committed to uplifting people, that I have the possibility, the opportunity to do that with. And at Working Wardrobes, we get to do that on scale. Everyone is here for the purpose of uplifting their fellow human, and that their purpose is what we are working on.
Yeah, and that passion that you exhibit comes out in how you work. It comes out in how much you want to sweat for this place. It comes out in how people feel when they walk in the door. It's you can't hide something like that. It's very apparent, and you can feel it with you that it's definitely there. But I'm sure that many people who work here have that same passion for what you're able to accomplish and how you're able to help people. And there's no amount of money that makes up for that, to be honest with you. Like with City of Hope, since we've been in Orange County, I think we've helped 32,000 people. I can't hardly believe that. If someone had said that to me, in 6 years, you guys are going to help 32,000 people, I would say, that's kind of a lot, don't you think? But the fact that we have is amazing. And, we hope hundreds of thousands and more over the decades to come.
Yeah, you absolutely will. And all the, as you said, not just the one person, but all the ripples that will be felt as a result.
Yes.
And that you are looking back, I think you said, on a 40-year career.
Yeah.
If you could speak to the younger you, maybe towards the beginning of that career, what advice would you impart to younger Annette?
I think our college system right now, in particular, our educational system, implies that you're supposed to come out of school and know exactly what you want to do, and you're supposed to be a CEO or whatever by this stage. Or there's a lot of assumptions laid on people or expectations that I don't think are necessarily realistic. I think until you actually get into the workforce, you don't know what you are going to really love. And there should be a more implied patience. Like I never went to early in my career and said, oh, I want to be a CEO. I had a very wise boss once who said, bloom where you're planted. And he said, if you're good where you are and you master that, the next step will take care of itself. It's the people that get into their first step and all they're doing is politicking and pushing for the next step, and they skip all that learning that they're supposed to get. And they don't get noticed for the next step because they haven't mastered the first step.
Yeah.
So I think there's a patience there about enjoying the journey a little bit more. You don't know what your destination is going to be, but I can guarantee you it'll be good if you're just faithful to some of those tenets and you do a good job. The next step will always take care of itself because unfortunately there's a whole lot of people who just want to be average and just want to do okay and don't care about the next step. So if you do care and you want to do excellence, it will be recognized. It absolutely will be. And you'll have the option of maybe being that CEO. And maybe if you don't, you probably don't care. And that's okay too. There's no, success is not defined by your title. It's, to me, it's more defined by, of course, you're covering the basic necessities of life. You want to take care of yourself, your family, things like that. But then other than that, I think it's more the impact that you have and how you feel about coming to work every day. Do you walk in the door and like seeing all those people? Do you love that work you do? So to my younger self, I'd say, be a little less presumptuous about what you think you're supposed to be and be more focused on enjoying the moment that you're in and keep moving forward.
I love this bloom where you're planted and also this permission, if you will, to explore.
Yeah.
It's actually a new service offering that we've added into Working Wardrobes on our on the trajectory of one's career, right? You, as you described, you make decisions, right? I'm going to try this, and if that doesn't work, I'll try that. Well, we are creating literally a relational database so that supportive adults, you, me, anyone can enter their information to the database and say, I'll offer job shadowing opportunities, informational interviews, workplace tours, maybe even a mentorship or project or an internship. And that way, our clients will be able to search for the interests, the opportunities that they want to just know more about. And, you know, what's it like to be a baker? What's it like to be the head chef? What's it like, whatever. And to get that experience and that discovery phase started sooner, so that, as you were describing, if it's not one, it's two. If it's not two, it's three. If it's not three, it's four. That they'll be able to do that sooner. It was a call to action, actually, from a community member who her son died by suicide because he was really grappling with these pressures of this success picture that we paint that doesn't exist. This straight line from here to, you know, to the Ivy Leagues and beyond. And he was not able to see where the possibility was for a different path. So I'm really, really in my heart holding on to what you just said so deeply and profoundly, and so grateful that we're actually approaching this with a system.
That's a fantastic idea. I agree. There's so much, I don't know if part of it's society is imposed, part of it's school imposed, part of it's self-imposed, but the real value is the journey itself and the discovery of the surprises that are going to be, you know, awaiting you that you never even imagined could happen.
Yeah, the discovery of the surprises. It's exactly it. Well, I want to wrap up. I don't actually want to, but I'm going to wrap up our conversation, and that I could just drink in some of the wisdom that you're sharing. And so, would you give me a little dessert, a little bit more?
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of pressure.
For our listeners, any parting words of wisdom, anything that you would like to share that might inspire?
I would say that, like, when I walked around today, I was really moved by the possibilities of the experience that you give to people. And I would say if it's any of your clients or anybody who has the opportunity to work with, believe in yourself, believe that you can do that. And like I said, my faith has been very important to me and got me through a lot of things. So if you do believe, lean on that. It's a gift that you've been given. And I just really take advantage of all the opportunities that are there. That sometimes I think we're hesitant to speak up about what we think might help us. So you are your best advocate. So be that. All these people will help you, but you sometimes they don't know what you're looking for or what help you need. So be your own best advocate. And like I said, enjoy that journey one step at a time. I walked the Camino in Spain, and I walked 220 miles, and I'm going to go back someday and do 500. But the point is that whole journey, it was one foot in front of the other. When I started the day, I didn't get up and say, I'm going to walk 2,000 steps. I got up and I walked one step at a time. And at the end of the day, I'd look and go, oh my God, I walked 5,000 steps today. So one step at a time.
It's an interesting way to look at it too, isn't it? Going back to what you were talking about earlier, and the resilience part of our brain, and that ability to really focus and do the thing. My feet hurt today.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But to walk and to be able to, at the end of the day, look back on what you've traveled.
Sometimes you can't see how far you've come till you look behind you.
So true. That is so true. Well, Annette, I am beyond inspired and grateful for the time and the wisdom you've shared.
Great to be here. And I've been inspired by the work that you do. And
thank you.
Just the organization's very lucky to have such a dynamic, passionate leader like you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. This has been our most recent episode of Rebuilding Careers. Annette Walker, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Bye for now.